All right, so I've got my my pose all kind of sketched out. This is a more simplified version of the one that we did last time. So what I want to do is I want to work on sketching out kind of what my costume is going to be, right? So if I look over here, I've got this sort of costume. There's a few different items that I want to make sure that I sort of translate over. Um, so to do that, I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this one costume. You can see I've already created a costume, but we'll reveal that at the end. So on our costume layer, we're going to continue with our one pencil B in tools here. This is your sketch TPL, I believe, from our class. So one of the first things that I'm going to do to get the costume sort of sketched in is I'm going to go on the pose sketch layer, and I'm just going to turn the opacity down to maybe 30%, something like that. It can be more, it can be less. Okay, and we're just going to draw right over that. So we make sure that we're on our costume layer, and then we're going to start sort of adding in some details here. So one thing is we've got this sort of sweeping, robe. It almost kind of looks like a lapel or something over here. So I'm actually going to start below the belt line here. And, right, this is where that central part of our sketch really helps. And I am going to sort of interpret things this way. Right. We'll do something like this. We've got sort of a thick belt in the middle here, so we'll go around the waist, and we'll do something like that. Don't worry if these lines intersect, right? We're just kind of trying to get the broad strokes done. Right, we see this kind of patterning on this side, kind of like that. We know that if this character is tilted back, we might see some pull back here. And that's what we're doing. We're just kind of figuring out, generally speaking, where are all the parts going to be? What sorts of folds or wrinkles are we going to see on everything here? Right. So I might do these sort of breeches for the legs. Might do a long cuff on these arms because we want them to look a little bit more princely. Again, go ahead and bring up your references too. Make sure you're taking a look at them to kind of see how other people have addressed their issues. For the legs here, right, I might turn this kind of into a cloven-footed shoe here. I might turn this into wrappings or something like that. Remember, the wrappings don't go across like this. They wrap around the contour of the leg. Again, we're just keeping things really loose. Just trying to see what we like and what we don't. Maybe put a ring on that hand. Maybe give him some, maybe a little button over here. Maybe this is sort of like a vest, and maybe there's a little kind of like Shazam cape that comes down like this in the back. I don't know. Remember, the figure doesn't have to be symmetrical, right? We can make the figure asymmetrical if we wish. So this arm might be a little bit different than this arm. We might maybe make this more of a shirt. We've got some pinch folds going on here. Something like that. And what should we do with this arm? Let's maybe do something with this arm where we maybe give him kind of like a robot claw. We've got sort of down in our references, right? We've got these sort of robot hands. Maybe we can do something like that. You know, maybe we'll make him sort of maybe a prince or something. From a fake nation. And maybe he's not a good guy. Let's give him sort of a crafty look. You know, where am I getting these shapes from? You know, that I've got like on his hat, right? I'm trying to copy some of these other forms that I'm using. I'm trying to get some of that wrapping kind of a look that I've got in the legs here. You know, bring some of it up to the top. You know, when you're drawing faces, you're going to want to make sure, again, you know where the middle of the head is. That's going to become pretty important if you're doing any shading. And again, we can simplify a little bit because we're going with that Overwatch style. So eyes are maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe something like this, and maybe we do like a razor hand or something over here. Maybe make the hand a little bit bigger. Give him some claws or something. And don't be afraid to like really exaggerate that a little bit. Just maybe like size it up. Do something ribbony up here. Right, so we'll maybe try something like this. Let's see how close it is to the other design that I came up with. Yeah, not too bad, pretty close. So this was a design that I came up with a little bit earlier. Yeah, I like that one a little bit better. Let's turn this one off. But again, you can sort of see how when you get that pose just right, you can now just, instead of focusing and worrying about the anatomy, you can take the time to focus on drawing the fun part, right? Which is the costume. And you'll have a little bit more time to think about it rather than worrying about the length of arms and legs if you're not super familiar with drawing all of that. All right, so we'll stop there for right now. And then when we pick up again, we'll talk about how to do a line infill on this character, which is the first step of really kind of finalizing everything.